Good morning, everybody, and for me it's actually finally an actual good morning because today we're actually racing at Goodwood in the morning. It's at the 10 a.m. Sunday event, or the Sunday race. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, we're actually racing today on the Sunday. Today specifically is a makeup race that I set up because I missed one of the races early on in the season, and this is actually the second time I rescheduled this specific race, so I had to come today. I actually didn't really want to come in today because yesterday was kind of a long day. I kind of got heat stroke. If you know, yesterday was actually the first piddle event, and that day was really hot, and I think I almost got heat stroke. I at least got heat exhaustion because when I got home I had a crazy headache and I had to go to bed for like 3 or 4 hours to like recuperate and be like alive for a little bit. But yeah, so today I didn't really want to come. I actually was supposed to do a double header today to have a race set up for me, like have a race banked, because I might be missing an event or a race in the coming weeks, so I kind of wanted to have one stored in so I could do it. But we're not racing. It's the second one. We're just gonna be racing today for the morning race. The second one's not happening. I'm way too tired and way too exhausted. I actually almost didn't make it here because I've had problems with my car, and if you noticed in my last video, I kind of messed up my front under tray and under the bumper. I tried driving that here. I drove like a kilometer and it just started scraping like crazy. So I thought I fixed it, but I didn't. So I got to relook at that and try to fix that when I get home today. But yeah, so we are here at Goodwood today on Sunday. We're gonna try to go for another good race today. I feel like we can do it pretty well today because it's actually quite hot outside already. It's like 10 o'clock and I feel like it's almost like 29 degrees. It's pretty crazy. The sun is out. It's beating right on the track. So I feel like the track's be nice and warm for the morning race, and there'll be a lot of sun and a lot of heat. So I feel like the track's be nice and warm. I feel like the times are going to be like low 38s, high 37s if you can get a good lap in, like a proper lap in. So it's going to be a fast day, really fast day. I feel like a 38s, 37s is going to be where you're going to need to do to be competitive, which I'm perfectly fine with. I feel like we can do that. Also, I think turn 4 is not going to be flat, but I think it's just going to be a lift and turn. I don't think you have to brake for that turn today. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it should be an exciting day. I'm really excited. And let's jump into practice. Alright, so here we are in practice number 1. Now I want to apologize from the beginning of the video if I sound a little nasally. I currently work outside and I do live in Canada, so we're starting to creep up on the winter months of the year. Now I recorded this video possibly in July-ish time, or maybe early August. Right now it's like the middle to endish time of November, so it's starting to get really cold, snowing, stuff like that in Canada. It's not too cold yet. Like usually we get to negative 20s here in the heart of the winter. Right now it's about -5, so it's not too crazy, but it's enough to snow and enough to make you wear a jacket, stuff like that. Also, I work outside. It's not like I work inside. I do work outside all day. I do spend about 9 to 11 hours outside during the day, so it's kind of cool out there, and it kind of gets to eventually you can only drink so much orange juice and vitamin C and stuff like that to keep yourself warm, drinking some tea, but it'll get to eventually you can only wear so much layers and stuff like that. The asphalt is warm though, so it does help a little bit. But enough of my talk about my work, because work isn't fun and racing is a lot of fun. So what I like to do, what it shows a good indicator for me is when I'm able to pass the person in front of me that gets sent out in front of me in practice. It shows a little bit of a good indicator that I'll have a good, decent day, especially since it was so warm today. I knew I could send it right off the rip, especially since I also wasn't the first people out in practice. That means the carts were sent out for a little bit of a I don't want to say a test run, but a practice run, I guess you could say, quote unquote, because it is practice. Excuse me. But the tires are definitely warmed up, so that was a good thing. So I knew I could send it pretty much right away. When I'm able to pass the person in front, it's sure a good sign. I have the track known in my head, and since we are running counterclockwise, yeah, we are running counterclockwise. I've been doing that like layout so often since I came here, especially last season. I think I did the regular layout, I guess you could call it. I think I did that maybe 8 of my 10 races during the season, or something ridiculous like that. Maybe 7, because I didn't do very many reverse. I think I only had 2 reverse, and then we did 1 with the chicane. I think that's it. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. Those races from last season, I did a lot of editing last year, so there's that as well. But honestly, I felt fantastic today. The cart felt great. Well, the carts I was driving for practice all felt pretty great. So I was really happy about stuff like that. So I really couldn't complain about much. Honestly, at this point, the mistakes I were making were all me. Nothing to do with the carts. They drove straight and everything like that. So it was pretty great dealing with those there. Besides that, I had a really good day. The carts were feeling good, like I said before.
I just really couldn't get turns 5 done properly. Turn 4 I was able to get here and there, not too bad, but turn 5 I was having a very, very tough time, as I've always do. Turn 6 was feeling absolutely great. It was really, I think that corner was the one corner I think I did not perfectly, but well enough to my level all day. Turn 7 A and B was kind of hit or miss here and there, but yeah, that's the end of practice pretty much right here. So we're just gonna have a little one last corner here, and then I'll see you guys out for qualifying just in a little bit.
Okay, so we just finished both practices. Practice 1 and 2 went like absolutely fantastic. I couldn't really have asked for anything more. I didn't see my times, I haven't checked them yet. It's kind of confusing because if you don't know your session number or something like that, you can't really find out what times were, because it's not under your name, it's under the actual cart number. But you have to know what session you were in to find out what thing you got, so it's kind of tough. But for qualifying, it's a little easier because you just go to group 1 and then qualify and you can find it, so it's a lot easier. But practice went fantastic. It definitely feels fast. I'm like almost not even lifting for turn 4 now. In practice 2 I tried that a little bit. Turn 5 I still brake a little bit. I don't know if that's right, I'm not sure. I just don't have the balls yet to not brake for that turn, so I guess we'll see how that goes. But everything else feels like absolutely fantastic. Turn 6 I think it is, I'm like going flat and just flicking it, and it's absolutely crazy. Even turn 7A and B, the little S's, I'm like almost flat and I'm just flicking it and letting it go, and I feel like I'm carrying so much more momentum like that. Excuse me, ran out of breath there. But the cart feels great. Like everything feels pretty good. I don't want to jinx myself, but today's feeling really good. I think that guy Daniel is here. I haven't seen him around, but the older guy that from race 1 that I said I had a fantastic race with, that you guys obviously didn't see. But if he's here, I'm actually looking forward to it because I know he's quicker than me, and I definitely want to push myself against him. I know I can keep up with him, and if he's here, I know I can definitely have a good race against him. So we'll see how that goes. But with that being said, there's nothing much more for me to say because I've definitely talked way too much in practice. So let's jump into qualifying and see how that goes. Hopefully we do pretty well. I think we can get a high 57. We'll see what we can do.
Alright, so before we went into qualifying, I was having a little bit of an issue putting my seat adjustment in. The problem is the first notch not a lot of people use, so a lot of dirt and stuff gets stuck in there. So I wasn't able to, it usually doesn't stay in, so they give us zip ties to like turn over, but the guy made a little bit of a mistake trying to get the first one on, so he had to run over to get another one. As you can see, other people are running out for their lap, so everyone's kind of rushing over to get the cart ready. And before my cart was even started, and I gave a quick little yank and I was able to start it, which was kind of hilarious. I never thought I'd be able to start it myself, but here we are jumping in a little bit later into qualifying. I didn't even wait for the guy to wave me in. I kind of just sent it absolutely right away. But here we are in qualifying. But the issue is I knew I was going to have some sort of I was the back marker, I guess you could call, but people on hot laps coming right behind me. So I knew I had people right behind me, and I didn't want to get in their way too much. So I saw this guy here. I was like, I'm going to fight him a little bit. And then as I go around this corner, I'm like, it's probably a bad idea to get in this guy's way. So I kind of point him by, let him go. And I was going to let this other gentleman pass by as well. But this is Kevin. This is my buddy that I made actually that day. I was trying to teach him some bit about the ropes. He's very, very fresh, or green, I guess you could say, in the karting scene. So I'll just give him a little bit of tips. I'm no absolute expert, but I'm just kind of passing on the information that other people have passed on to me throughout the 2 years that I've been here. So yeah, just little things like he wasn't going flat out, for example, at turn 1, and I told him, you gotta go flat out. I know it's kind of intimidating the first time you do it, but you gotta go flat out. Just trying to give him a little bit of tips, explain to him that you can't, stand on the brakes, because if you stand on the brakes, it will instantly, it's like pulling the handbrake, and it basically spins you out. So I was giving him little tips here and there. He was starting off the day with, I think, 45s, and then I think by the end of the day, because he ends up being in my race, because he's in qualifying, I think he ends up with a low 40, like a 40.0 something. I don't remember. You'll see afterwards in the end of the race. But yeah, so you'll see after. But honestly, great progress from him. I was so happy with him that he was doing so much better. And maybe there's a career in me teaching people how to race. Maybe, possibly. I doubt it. It's just a joke. I was just helping some guys out, doing some simple things, and that's all that matters. But qualifying went okay. I think honestly I did get 3 laps of qualifying, which was for the fact that I was also late. I've never gotten that many laps in qualifying ever. I guess there wasn't a lot of people here today, so that was kind of crazy. But I think I kind of got in my head a little bit too much and wasn't able to. Well, I think I ran an okay lap. I ended up running, I think, a 39.4. You'll see a little after when I do like my post-com a little bit. I'll show you the exact time I ran. But I think I got a little bit nervous with me having to do with me being a little late, so I thought I had to rush and get a lap in right away because maybe I was only going to get 1 lap, maybe 2 if I was lucky, but we actually ended up getting 3, so I really should have calmed down, try to run a proper time. I was kind of jumping my seat a little bit too much. I should have really paid a little bit more attention because all the other guys who go pretty fast, they don't jump around in the seat as much, so I really shouldn't have done crazy stuff like that. But here's the final lap of qualifying right here. We're just trying to run to the line, get the last little bit out of the cart, and hopefully we can run a decent time in the end. But qualifying was good, and we ended up qualifying second, so here I am to explain a little bit more.
Alright, so that was qualifying. Qualifying was a little bit interesting because I got a little bit of a late start. I kind of worked out in the end because we actually ended up getting I think we got an extra lap because I was late, but whatever. The reason was that because the carts, they have a problem like keeping it into like the first slot, so they kind of have zip ties there to hold it in, but the zip tie was already zipped too short, so it wasn't able to get over like the notch to hold it in place. So like before we even like sat in the carts, I asked the guy like, hey, can you put a zip tie? But I guess the first one he put on, he messed up, and then they started sending guys out, and I was like, all right, well, this is gonna happen. All right, that's kind of cool. So he came back running. He's like, put the zip tie on. I started the cart myself, which is kind of funny. I don't know how the hell I did that. I actually saw one of the other guys do it, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, and I ripped it, and it started. I was like, holy shit, I did it. So that kind of worked out. But then yeah, on the out lap, I knew I was gonna get some sort of traffic, so I ended up hitting a guy who was quicker than me, so I was able to let him by, and it actually worked out with that. And then there was another guy, his name's Kevin, made friends with him, so shout out to Kevin. He's a little bit slower than me, so he was able to let me pass by, so I was able to get a couple clean laps. And I actually ended up qualifying second with a 38.4, I think it was, about that. The guy Daniel from the first race, like I mentioned, he's here. I was talking to him. He managed to get like a 37.7, so he's quite quicker than me today, but usually I'm much faster actually in the race, so we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can catch up to him. The first race of the season, it was kind of the same situation, so we'll see how it goes. I think I'm not braking enough. I think I'm too confident in the slowdown. I think I'm also chucking it a little too hard. I think that's slowing me down with like momentum and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I tried, throwing the cart forward and putting my head down a little bit of slipstream or whatever, but it worked out a little bit. I qualified second. I was able to actually get 4:10, so it's like 4 and a bit faster than the guy in third. So I think I'm quite substantially quicker than the guy in third. I don't think I have to really worry about him too much. I feel like once the race starts going, I can kind of run away from him. I don't want to say anything. I only knock on wood. Whatever. I don't have any wood near me, but knock on wood. Hopefully I can get away from him. Hopefully I can just, stay away. Excuse me. Holy crap. Hopefully I can just stay behind Daniel the whole race and try to pass him. But we'll see how it goes. It's pretty hot still, so the track's nice and sticky. I'm gonna try to brake a little bit more because I think that's what he's doing. Because usually he brakes quite a bit, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's jump in the race and let's get this thing going.
All right, so here we are. The most part of the video, it is race time. Now I've recorded this maybe 90 times because it keeps going over the same file over and over from a clip I didn't like. So hopefully this finally will work. But here we are, race time. We're going up against one of the fastest drivers, one of the faster drivers here. That is Daniel. Daniel is a very quick driver, and I try to follow him as much as I can to shadow him and try to do things that he does. Now, the main thing I think he does the most is I think he does brake slightly, or maybe he just lifts earlier than I do for turn 4. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just too scared with the colder tires at the beginning of the race. Now, there's no real true way to warm up your tires because you're not allowed to weave in and out on the parade lap. That's something they don't allow you to do because they don't want people to spin. It's not that they don't want you to do it, it's just they don't want people to spin. Apparently they have problems with people trying to warm up their tires, and in doing so they just keep spinning. So you're not allowed to do that, but there's little things you guess you can do, like just overextending corners just so you can get a little bit more wear on the outside tire to heat up ever so slightly, but not over on the out too much onto the gravel because that's not going to help you get any warmth to the tire. That's just going to add slipperiness to your tire, which isn't good. Now, at the end of lap 1, I believe here we are here, or lap 2, he's already running away from me, and I can't really follow his line as much as he gets farther and farther away from me. So at this point, I'm kind of just running my own race. If you do want to watch the full length of the video, I'll have a link, the little clip thing at the top of the beginning of the race that you can click to watch the full race without my annoying voice in the video. Now, because at this point, Daniel's kind of running away with it. And the guy in third, I think he made a mistake not trying to hit me. at a point, so he kind of backed out on a move, and that kind of slowed him down too much, and I was able to not run away with it, because I think I ended up going only about 3 seconds ahead of him at the end of the race, or maybe 2 point something. So he kind of did himself dirty, and I guess I was able to keep a good enough pace to stay ahead of him. Now, unfortunately, I'm just going to have the clips of me finishing each lap just kind of popping up here, just because nothing else crazy happens, and I don't really want to bore you with a really long and race of me just going lap after lap and listening to me talk about absolutely nothing as I am right now. But I did learn a lot from this, is that I need a lot to do, a lot more improvement than what I've had before. And currently I'm recording this late in the season, or at this end of the season, so I can't really go and practice right now. But these are all notes I'm going to take for the beginning of next season and try to do a little bit better. I want to do a little bit better next season. I didn't finish as well as I wanted to, but just like this race, I didn't finish as well as I wanted to, but that's it, and we'll go to post-com Lucas now.
So that's the end of race day 7 for me. All in all, it went not too bad. I was able to qualify second, hold second the whole race. Just I wasn't able to keep pace the entire race. I wasn't able to keep pace with the guy in first. The guy Daniel was just a little too quick for me. I was able to stay. See, now it's tough because now you guys aren't going to believe me. In race 1, I was on his ass all the time, so it's kind of unfortunate. But in the race, I was actually able to set a pretty, I think, a respectable time. It's not very quick, but it's more respectable. 37.9. I would say that's pretty quick, pretty good. It's not fast by any means, but I think it's more respectable. Daniel ran a 37.2. That guy, I think he's wicked fast. That's why I wasn't able to catch him. I wasn't going to be able. I was going to have to run times like that to keep up with him, and I really should have. But I guess just today wasn't my day. But the way I look at it is a good thing, because we've been getting thirds for too long, and now we're going up to second. Maybe, just maybe, next race I'll be able to get bumped up just a little bit more into first. So we'll see. Maybe if I stay until the second race, I'll be able to get something there. Maybe I'll be able to beat the guys in that race, but I can't. I have to go home, and I have things to do, unfortunately. I'd love to stay and race all day, but it's unfortunate I can't. But the race was good. The guy in third was actually quite competitive. He was telling me that there was some room he could have made a dive in, but he goes, he was a little sketchy. He didn't want to do it, so I appreciate that from him. I don't remember his name. If I looked at the thing quickly, I could tell, but it's okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I told him thanks, man, but I did actually end up walking away from him just a little bit. On the straights, he said I was like blowing away from him, but in the corners, he was able to get me. So the way I look at it was I was too slow in the corners, and that's where I should have kept up with Daniel. So if I was able to get a little bit in the corners, that's something I have to work on. I think it really turn 5 is where I'm messing up a lot. Turn 4 I was doing okay, but turn 5 I definitely need to work on. And turn 6, I think got that pretty down pat. Turn 6, if I can just link everything properly, I think I have a good idea on how to do every corner. Just I can't set one perfect lap. I think it's like every lap I'm able to do one turn pretty good, but then everything else to screw up. Like in the race, I think I did turn 7, A, and B pretty well. Just everything else was kind of a shambles, so I wasn't able to do it. But yeah, the race went really well. Came in second. At least I get to bring more more hardware. Can't speak right now. I'm a little tired, still a little bit wheezy from yesterday, so the sun isn't really helping me here right now. So yeah, I'm gonna try to hide for a little bit, get my medal, and then get the heck out of here. But yeah, after this, you guys will see me on the award ceremony. Hopefully I can find somebody to, I can weasel somebody into holding the camera for me to record it for me. That's like my biggest problem here. I guess it's kind of a good problem to have to worry about getting somebody to record your, receiving your medal. That's kind of cool. But anyways, I'll see you guys at the award ceremony. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys at my next race day. I'll just move up with me, that's all. Thanks, man.
Congrats, Lucas.